This is DW News live from Berlin. Kabul on high alert. Multiple bomb blasts rocked the Afghan capital. The Taliban claim responsibility for one attack on the city's police academy. At least 20 people were killed in that blast alone. I'm Terry Martin. Thanks for joining us. The Afghan capital, Kabul, has been shaken by a series of devastating bomb attacks over the past 24 hours. The most recent struck in an area north of the city's airport. Gunfire was also reported. The Taliban have meanwhile claimed responsibility for an attack a few hours earlier. Well, let's get the latest now from Kabul. Correspondent Sune Engel Rasmussen is standing by there for us. Sune, what's the situation there now? And another terrorist attack is ongoing at this hour in West Africa. In Mali, government troops have surrounded a hotel where gunmen are holed up with Western hostages. A Ukrainian who managed to escape said 4 or 5 terrorists were still holding 3 South Africans and a Russian. Government officials in the capital, Bamako, say at least 8 people have been killed in the standoff. That figure includes attackers, government forces, and 1 UN worker. While in Bangladesh, another secular blogger has been murdered by suspected extremists in the capital, Dhaka. It's the latest attempt by vigilantes to silence a dissenting voice. Authorities in Bangladesh have sometimes been accused of ignoring attacks on critical journalists. Well, DW's Gurna Ketos joins us now for some analysis. Gurna, you've been in Bangladesh covering these attacks on the bloggers. What can you tell us about this latest victim, Niloy Neel? Speaking out is obviously very dangerous in Bangladesh. We've seen numerous attacks on secular bloggers, as you've mentioned. Why aren't authorities doing more to apprehend the perpetrators and protect the bloggers?
That's a very good question.
Okay, Gurna Ketos, thank you very much for those insights on this very disturbing story. The U.S. presidential election is still more than a year away, but the suspense in the U.S. is already building, especially on the question of who the Republican Party will nominate as their candidate. There's a crowded field of contenders, and 10 of them battled it out in a televised debate Thursday night. Frontrunner Donald Trump came under fire from opponents like Jeb Bush. With immigration, abortion, and jobs the big topics, our Washington correspondent Richard Walker was watching. Richard Walker there in Washington. Well, Athens has appealed to the EU for urgent help to handle tens of thousands of migrants pouring into Greece, mainly from Syria and Afghanistan. In July alone, nearly 50,000 migrants arrived in the Mediterranean country. That's the same number that entered Greece in the whole of last year. During the first 6 months of this year, the flow of migrants into Greece has risen 750% compared to the same period in 2014. Well, the UN Refugee Agency says there's total chaos on the Greek island shown on this map as authorities there struggle to cope with the massive influx. The UN describes the conditions for migrants on these islands as shameful. And thousands of people are living without water, sanitation, and adequate accommodation. Welcome back here with DW News. Our top stories. Kabul is on high alert after a series of bomb blasts rocked the city. And another blogger has been hacked to death in Bangladesh. It's the 4th such attack in the country this year. Business news now with Ben, and the world's biggest economy is creating more jobs.
It sure is, but do you know what that means, Terry?
Thanks, Ben. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Well, the English Premier League kicks off this Saturday, and there is some good news for fans of London club Chelsea, just in time for the new season. Jose Mourinho has signed a new 4-year contract with the reigning league champions. The World Anti-Doping Agency has condemned the manner in which the drug tests of nearly 12,000 athletes were obtained and then leaked to the media. The scandal has rocked the International Association of Athletics Federations, or IAAF, ahead of their presidential elections later this month. One of the candidates, former Olympic champion Sebastian Coe, commented on the new allegations. Well, it's summer, it's hot here in Germany, and the small town of Kitzingen in Bavaria has set a new record temperature 40.3 degrees Celsius, or almost 105 Fahrenheit. Now, if your body gets that hot, you officially have a fever, and that's what the people of Kitzingen were subjected to today. It's the second time in as many months that the mercury there has set a sizzling record. Now, other areas in Germany are also experiencing extreme temperatures, and while some may welcome the Saharan weather, it does cause health problems, especially for the very young and the very old. Before we go, just a reminder of the top stories we're following for you. Kabul is on high alert after a series of bomb blasts rocked the city. You're watching DW News from Berlin. Join me again at the top of the hour for another full news bulletin, and check us out online at dw.com.